If you're a custodial supervisor at a local high school, you know that cleanliness is key, and that the best place to get cleaning supplies is from Grainger. Grainger helps you stay fully stocked on the products you trust, from paper towels and disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Plus, you can rely on Grainger for easy reordering, so you never run out of what you need. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw, and I'm joined by three of my good friends. I'm looking at them right now. They're all trying to figure out which one of them I'm going to introduce first. Let's go with Mr. Richard Hatem, the host of, one of the hosts of Rankin' on Bass, which means, Richard, now you're a podcaster, so sorry.
You've unleashed me. I'm going to do more and more, man.
It's true.
Too big for this kind of stuff.
Also,
you got to update your LinkedIn.
Yeah, right. Also joining us, he is not far behind when Richard is joining us, Mr. Cullen Gallagher, straight from the East Coast.
Howdy.
And the father of Malone, Malone's father, Post Malone's father, Mr. Father Malone himself, Father Malone.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going. So Richard and Cullen decided to program this month. I was like, hey, pick something. And they were like, Burt Reynolds. So we're here to talk about Burt Reynolds Month, of films that I have never seen, which is not surprising. It's not You've Never Seen Month, though, but I have not seen any of these movies. So it is You've Never Seen Month in a way. Almost everything this year is stuff I haven't seen.
At last, a warm, sensitive, touching story about the close personal relationship between a man and a woman, between a trucker and his dog.
Fred, I'm so damn tired of picking you up. I got to Fred!
Between a father and his son.
No way that you could come from my loins.
And how they all took to the road one day for a quiet little drive in the country. From Georgia to Texas and back in 28 hours flat with a truckload of bootleg beer.
I'll be driving this one. Hey, blocker. You'll be driving the truck. This is Bandit 1, and that is Bandit 2.
Now, who would do a thing like that?
You're crazy, you know that? Yeah, you know that. Yes. How much money did you say it was? $80,000.
Universal presents Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, Jerry Reed, and Fred.
We're gonna really have to cook. I mean, put it on the back burner and let's cook. Is that a 10-4?
10-4.
And the only thing that stands between them and an $80,000 prize, Jackie Gleason as Sheriff Buford T. Justice.
I gotta barbecue your... Bandit, I got a Smokey report for you. What's your handle, son? My handle is Smokey Bear, and I'm tail grabbing your ass right now.
This is Smokey and the Bandit, the story about a lazy weekend in Alabama, Texas, Mississippi, Arkansas, Georgia.
Daddy, the top came off.
No.
We ain't gonna make it, son. We come this far, ain't we? Look, when we say we're gonna do a job, we do a job. It's me they're after. They don't even know clean snow exists. Oh, they don't. Well, I tell you what we're gonna do.
Smokey and the Bandit, proving once and for all, it's not where you're going that counts. It's who the hell's in back of you.
But that notwithstanding, we are talking about Burt Reynolds movies, and we're kicking it off with, I guess, is this one of the Burt Reynolds? This is one of the Burt Reynolds movies, right? Like the performances.
This is pretty iconic.
Is this before we even get to the movie, is this the performance?
Personally, I'd say yes.
Oh, I'd say Deliverance, right?
I mean, that's the other big contender.
Yeah, I mean, but there'd be no Smokey and the Bandit without Deliverance.
Definitely not.
Well, here's my argument, though: is that I'm not arguing the quality of his performance in Deliverance, but when you're talking about the icon of Burt Reynolds, I feel like this role reflects that iconography. Like Deliverance was an actor playing a role. This is Burt Reynolds unleashing Burt Reynolds upon an unsuspecting public who had to take Burt Reynolds full in the face.
Oh boy, just Burt Reynolds made a mess everywhere, as they would say. But let's get to talking about it.
There's a moment 15 minutes and 20 seconds in where I believe my point is, and you all know what it is.
Yes.
Yeah,
when he turns and smiles at the camera.
Hey, don't break that fourth wall too hard, Burt Reynolds. But yeah, let's talk about a little film called...
So apparently when that happened, though, just a little aside.
Go for it.
According to Burt, after that was a first take, and he said to Hal Needham, "Be careful with breaking that fourth wall." And Hal Needham said, "What is this wall thing?"
Oh my God.
Which is great. He doesn't need to know about it.
No, that's for sure.
It's a very intuitively directed movie.
Yes. I mean, literally you could, papers can and possibly have been written about the decision to use that take, put it that way.
Sure.
And just the absolute confidence of a movie knowing what it is and just diving in face first and embracing it. That to me is one of the joys of the movie.
So let's talk about the other joys of this film. Like we've already mentioned, it's directed by Hal Needham. It has a screenplay written by James Lee Barnett, Charles Shire, and Alan Mandel. It does star Burt Reynolds, Sally Field, Jerry Reed, and Jackie Gleason, and Paul Williams, Father Malone. Little
Absolutely.
Enos. Not playing Swan. Disappointing. Disappointing he's not playing Swan, but he could always be playing Swan.
Yeah.
And Happy as Fred, the Basset Hound.
That's true. Fred does steal the show. So, Father Malone, we'll get to Cullen and Richard in a moment. I think it's pretty obvious why they picked this movie. They both really like it a lot. This is their month. So I will actually defer to you first, Father Malone. When was the first time you saw Smokey and the Bandit? And what did you think then? And what do you think now, rewatching it, to talk about it?
I saw this movie at the drive-in when I was about 5 or 6. My dad was from Tennessee, and Burt Reynolds was pretty much his favorite movie star. So we were very Burt Reynolds household. And I saw it one. They started playing it on cable, and I watched it a lot then. And I really like Burt Reynolds, and I can appreciate everything about the movie. Like, I mean, as a kid, I loved it. It was for all the reasons we've already mentioned, just the sort of affability of Burt Reynolds movie star versus Burt Reynolds the actor. And there are still joys in it, and I appreciate how breezy it is. But while I was watching it this time, I kept thinking, in just a few years, they're going to make the Cannonball Run, which to me is every way a superior film. So I liked this movie a little less. I still love all the performances, although I do think the Jackie Gleason stuff just fucking drags everything down. I love him, and I obviously appreciate him as a dramatic actor. If you've ever seen the Twilight Zone episode of Game of Pool he was in, I don't know. I like the movie, but I don't like the movie.
I'm sorry. You did that. I just want to make sure I heard what you said correctly so I can react. You're saying you said Jackie Gleason drags the movie down?
No. I'm not saying that.
The Jackie Gleason scenes.
His performances are good, but the sort of setup and the comedy going on kind of go nowhere, and it's the same joke over and over again. And I wanted him more involved somehow. I don't know. I just kept, every time they cut to Buford T. Justice, I was just like, oh my God, here we go. Yeah. Sorry.
So Richard, you've interjected yourself already. So Richard, when did you see this for the first time? What did you think? And what do you think now? What do you think now, Buford?
How you like it now?
How you like now, Buford?
I don't remember. I don't think I saw it in the theaters. I think I missed it when it was big. And my most recent memory of seeing it is within the last 20 years. And then being pleasantly surprised, oh, this is actually much better than I expected. And that's been the memory that I've kept with me watching it this time. And again, watching it alone, not watching it with my wife, who, we had a good time watching it in the past. And watching it in 2021, there were moments where I'm like, wow, if I showed this movie to somebody who had never seen it and was seeing it for the first time in 2021, there's going to be discordant notes. And I don't necessarily believe in judging a movie on that basis, the sexual politics, the racial politics, the comedy score. Which of these are most offensive? I would say the comedy score during those Buford T. Justice scenes, and then after that, some of the racial, but certainly the sexual politics. But anyway, it's and yet you have these four performances: Burt Reynolds and Sally Field, who just charisma and chemistry off the.
If you've been thinking about getting serious with your money, actually serious, now's the time. The Motley Fool is offering new members 50% off their iconic stock recommendation service, Stock Advisor. This is the same service that's crushed the market with recommendations that have returned 1,057% since inception, compared to the S&P 500's 180% over that same period. This isn't guesswork. The Motley Fool has a track record of finding companies before they become household names. So if you want to invest smarter and you like saving money while doing it, go to fool.com/listen to claim your 50% off discount off a 1-year term of Stock Advisor. Again, that's fool.com/listen. Returns of 1,057% are from the Motley Fool's product Stock Advisor and measured against S&P 500 returns of 180% as of July 10th, 2025. Past performance is not an indicator of future results. All investing involves a risk of loss. Individual investment results may vary.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Charts. And then Jerry Reed on one hand and Jackie Gleason on the other, who gives an amazing comic performance, because that is not Jackie Gleason. If you know Jackie Gleason, you know that he's played a lot of characters in his life, and this is a performance. And I think that'd be hard. I think if I didn't know any better, I'd watch that and go, wow, they went and got some fucked out Southern asshole, and here he is.
And I quote, fucked out.
Southern asshole.
A fucked out Southern asshole. Not just an asshole. A fucked out one.
Those are the worst.
No, they are. What about you, Mr. Gallagher? Where do you come in with Burt Reynolds and the smokiest of bandits?
I know I saw it on television growing up in Georgia, and then I moved to Maine, and I must be the dark ages of my life, because I did not have this movie in my life. And it wasn't until maybe 10 or so years ago that I reacquainted myself with the movie, catching it on TV late one night, and I just recorded it on a DVD. And I absolutely loved it and was just laughing my ass off. And I just kept watching it over and over. It became just oh, had a great night. Just came home. Let's throw on Smokey and the Bandit. Oh, shit, I had a bad day. I'm just going to throw on Smokey and the Bandit. And I have since upgraded to an actual Blu-ray of the movie. But I absolutely love the movie. It just cheers me up every time I throw it on.
It totally... I think my favorite part of the movie in a certain way is just the premise. If you just sat down and tried to explain the premise to someone now, they would be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
There's literally nothing to it.
There's this thing called Coors beer that was only available west of the Rockies and was not available east of the Rockies. And if it was ever transported east of the Rockies, that was considered bootlegging. And it's 1977. Just that alone, people need to sit down and like take a nap, because it's like, wait, you're talking about America? Like this really happened? It's like, yeah, that's the thing. Like you couldn't get anything you wanted at any time. So this is actually a movie that's sort of like based on a glorified beer run. Like the logic is so bizarre, and yet they set it up really fast. And it's just like, okay, in this world, there are legendary truckers. Just go with us. There are
you know what they say, Richard? BEERRUN. Beer run. That's what this is.
Whoa. I've never heard that. That's very melodic.
Beer run, man.
So we're going to make a movie about guys, who know that there's beer in Texarkana and there's guys who are thirsty in Atlanta.
Yeah.
And that's the movie. And we're so like, did people go to the movies in 1977 and go, well, I guess in the South is what they do. And if you can just get out, if you can leave Alabama and get into Mississippi, the Alabama cops have to stop, and then the Mississippi cops take over. And if they can just get to Atlanta, everything will be okay. And this makes total sense to us because the logic is so fucked out. And yet again, sold with such straight-faced brio that you kind of never question it.
And they repeat it like 5 times in the first several minutes of the movie, just in case.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense the first time, or if you were at the concession stand and you missed the first minute of the movie. Because once they set it up, they never deviate from this premise. There is no subplots, no like third act, like twists.
No,
it's just straight.
The film is almost anticlimactic in the way that it ends. Actually, film's rather anticlimactic in the way that it ends. Intentionally anticlimactic.
Well, but I mean, that's a really smart thing, and the thing that Cullen brings up, it's like, again, Hal Needham, say what you will. It's like, okay, we're going to do 5 solid minutes of setup for a 1 hour and 25 minute punchline. But the hour and 25 minutes ain't going to work unless we nail the setup. Everyone's got to be clear. It's like Jacob Marley was dead. That has to be understood, or the rest of this will not work. So let's repeat, Jacob Marley is dead. Let's repeat, they're thirsty in Atlanta and there's beer in Texarkana.
Can we put it into a song too?
Now let's
just reinforce it again.
And that's a great song too.
Oh my God.
I love that song. Jerry Reed is
spectacular tune.
Eastbound and Down, dude. I never even knew where that song was from until I heard it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, fuck, okay, good."
So apparently, buddy, Jerry Reed was actually supposed to be the Bandit. Like when Hal Needham was conceiving this, he was going to make a low budget trucker movie, and he based it on the fact that the driver from Gator bootlegged some core and brought it into Georgia and then gave it to Hal Needham, and Hal Needham's maid kept stealing the cores. And he's like, people want to steal cores. Here's a movie idea. And it wasn't until Burt was like, all right, this script sucks, but I'll do it if it'll help you get money. And
to your point, Richard,
they're
like the premise is fucking fantastic. But the thing is, when I read about it like you did, Cullen, that original idea with Jerry Reed in the lead role, like I kind of think I would have preferred that film. You know, I just personally.
I honestly think Jerry Reed kind of steals the movie for me. Like Burt Reynolds is good, but there's something about that good old boy charm that Burt Reynolds just don't get. That Jerry Reed just, you look at the man and you're like, 10-4, good buddy. I mean, I get it. Like, it's Burt Reynolds just feels like he's playing Burt Reynolds, right?
Yeah.
Jerry Reed is doing the whole,
right.
Not hee-haw, but it's, it's an affectation. He's evoking a certain thing.
But is he? Because I saw a documentary and they're like, Burt Reynolds is just saying like, no, that's just Jerry Reed being Jerry Reed.
Which I mean, so even more so than he's not even having to go very far outside of his wheelhouse to play himself.
I mean, to go back to what Father Malone said, I would actually love to see the Jerry Reed version of this movie. And
not part
we had to live, I haven't seen part 3 yet. But like, if we had to live in a world where Burt Reynolds didn't play this role, I would be so happy if it was Jerry Reed. Like, I almost wish there was like an alternate universe where I could just jump in and see that movie.
But my question is, you can't separate Burt Reynolds from Sally Fields. So then the question is it the same? Is it Jerry Reed with Sally Field in the car, in the passenger seat next to him? Is that what we're talking?
Yeah, why not?
I would think it would probably just be Jerry Reed, right? It would be more like Gone in 60 Seconds ish. Like
there was no Buford Justice in the original script. Like no Junior. Like it was. I'm guessing just a very pared down version of what we got, closer to like Vanishing Point or something. And I don't know.
I mean, believe me, this is, why we're here to pick out elements and mix and match and all that stuff. But I will say that, in my opinion, what sort of puts this over the goalpost, if that is a correct sports metaphor, I wouldn't know.
I'm with you.
You got car chases. Yeah, you got, this burlesque Jackie Gleason performance. But the Burt Reynolds, and when I say Burt Reynolds, I mean Burt Reynolds as one half of Burt Reynolds and Sally Field. When you've got that, that's a whole, it's like almost a different movie, those scenes. But in a great way. Not like it's tonally a departure that is discordant. It's like, wow, Sally Fields is so great and her character is so well drawn, and again played with such like unapologetic. The fact that she's like, on paper they were thinking Barbra Streisand or something. They were thinking New York actress, possibly Jewish. I mean, this is a city girl in a country mouse, but that's not how it comes off at all. It comes off like she is very at home in this, and it's charming that she thinks of herself as Broadway material, because it's like, you're so fucking cute, lady. You are not a Broadway New York threat. You are fucking adorable, and you work in both worlds. And that's what makes the two of them work. And that's why the movie's a hit, because women can come to this movie and enjoy that relationship, even as Gleason's a dick and, every other crude bit of humor and cop car flipping over. So I return to my original question. Could Jerry Reed pull that off with Sally Field?
He couldn't pull off the movie we got. I just think there's an alternate movie in an alternate universe where Jerry Reed is the Bandit, and I think that movie would have worked as well. It certainly wouldn't be Smokey and the Bandit. It would just have been Bandit, right?
We just need to call the TVA and get this variant out of here. Father Malone is the variant here. He needs to have this timeline needs to be pruned.
I'm confused.
Loki, it's a Loki reference.
It's a low-key, It's a low-key Loki reference.
I've not seen that yet. Thank you for explaining.
You're welcome. I will say, in regards to Jackie Gleason, okay, I really thought it was going to be Clifton James in this movie. I know that will elicit a chuckle from some of you. Some of you will say, who is that? That is the gentleman who essentially plays the same character that Jackie Gleason does in this movie, in the 2 James Bond movies. Albeit not very well. It is a very bad addition to those movies. I think it's kind of one of the goalposts of a bad Roger Moore movie is shitty slapstick comedy. And when they get over that one, you know, there's only a couple more things left in those movies that you can really check off. But since
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hello, this is Aaron West. I am the author of the A24 New Wave. In this book, I look at A24's output and I make the argument that we are in a new wave movement right now. A24 plays a major role. This book has a supplemental podcast where each episode is a brief conversation about an A24 related topic, whether an actor, director, or even a genre. As I continue research for the book and conduct interviews, I expect to record podcast episodes with people involved with the company. You can find the podcast at cinejourneys.com or wherever you find podcasts, and we are proud to be members of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
I kind of haven't given my thoughts yet, but you guys have done such a good job of getting to this point already. I like this movie a lot. It's fun. It's my first Burt Reynolds movie other than seeing Mr. Bean, which is a Burt Reynolds movie in as much as he's in it. But I'd never gotten to see Burt Reynolds do what I consider to be the Burt Reynolds thing, which is what this movie is. It's Burt Reynolds doing the Burt Reynolds thing, being the charismatic, good-looking guy that he is, however you want to look at it. But it is kind of just a movie with the barest of bare minimum plot, which is okay. That's fine. But I bet it only works in this movie and it doesn't work in the other two. Don't correct me if I'm wrong, but that's right. There's no way I'm wrong. Because this works all of like one time, maybe twice. Maybe you could get away with it again. But this kind of movie works once. They built on it with Cannonball Run. Cannonball Run, I assume I haven't seen it all the way through, but what I've seen from what I remember, it just builds on this idea of a cross-country race. But this idea doesn't work very well, and I'm sure there were tons of movies that copied this one that didn't work very well. The second and third version of this movie didn't turn out very well from all the information that I can glean from Father Malone's reaction and from just reading about it on the internet. Father Malone, your opinion is one I hold in high regard, similarly to Richard and Cullen. But I like it. I would only watch this one, though, because I feel like if I watch anything else, it might sully how good this movie is. Does that make sense? And I'm not a car movie guy. Like, road movies, car movies, movies centered around car action, not my thing. I know, Cullen, you're a huge fan of the Fast and the Furious movies. So for me, like, I would be much more apt to get into a car movie like this that has like that 70s charm and style to it. I'm also a huge fan of trucking culture as someone who works in that industry. I love seeing like the 10-4, good buddy, and the fucking like hearing them just like casually drop some terms that I have heard and like know about, like obviously Smokey Bear. They say a couple other ones, but I mean, look, it's kind of, it's trading in the trucking culture of the 70s, the whole CB thing. It's trading in that a little bit, but also doing the whole car culture. I think it's a fun movie. I don't think it has a lot of legs past just being a fun movie, though. Yeah,
but I think in a weird way, you're paying it the highest compliment.
Yeah,
which is that it is that in a way, it's so unique that whatever its charms are, it's lightning in a bottle.
Correct, 100%.
It's not like, well, what people loved about this movie was the fact that there was a bet, and if we just do another movie with another bet, it will be equally as entertaining.
Right.
Because obviously it won't. And we could sit here and in 10 minutes come up with 50 examples of movies where sequels have been made and the original is here and every other sequel is so far below it and so hideous and so injurious to the first one that you almost hate and resent the fact that they even exist. And I think, whereas, I haven't seen Smokey and the Bandit 2, so I won't comment, but I'm going to say, I agree. This movie, to a large degree, its charms are lightning in a bottle.
I think part of why they were able to pull it off, and I agree with you about it. This one is much better than 2. 2 has its charms, but this wasn't expected to be anything. Universal didn't care about it. They cut the budget by $1 million days before it went into production. It opened they opened it only in one theater in New York at Radio City Music Hall for a week, and it didn't do well. It wasn't until it opened in the South that it started to make a shit ton of money and wound up being the second highest grossing movie of the year behind Star Wars.
Can you imagine seeing this movie in New York? The crowd's just like, what the fuck is this shit?
It eventually caught on and did decent here, but it's just this was, reviews at the time were calling it a sleeper hit. This was not they didn't sit down and by design create, this is going to be a blockbuster movie, make a shit ton of money, and everybody's going to like in these different demographics. They just got Hal Needham, who knows how to do stunts. They got actors who are charming, and they were charming, and the magic was there. And I think one of the problems with Smokey 2 is they're trying to recreate that magic, and it feels forced.
And let's not kid ourselves. I think for me, the best performance in the movie is Jackie Gleason because it is so against type. It's not to the moon, Alice. It's, it's essentially Foghorn Leghorn, name some Southern asshole, and you kind of he paints
evidently based it on Burt Reynolds' father.
Or it's someone. The name Buford T. Justice is a real person's name, right, or something to that effect. It is painting the Southern stereotype with the broadest of broad brushes, right? It is not at all a nuanced role, but that's okay because the role is so big and over the top that it does work in contrast to Burt Reynolds' role, which is also big and over the top, with the mustache and the fucking cowboy hat and the red shirt and the tightest of tight jeans. Good God in heaven.
Dude, he looks good.
Oh, he looks good. Good isn't even begin to scratch the surface. Come on now.
I'd scratch that surface.
I would scratch it all day long. He's a good-looking guy. Sally Field Sally Field's still attractive. She's a gorgeous woman then, now, forever. Even Jerry Reed. Jerry Reed's a good-looking dude, too. Everyone in this movie plays their part well, is believable in their role. I just don't understand the Sally Field character because it always feels like she teleported in from another movie and then it doesn't go anywhere.
Well,
why didn't she tell him why the fuck she was running away, right?
Well, okay. I didn't know you were going to get to it so early, but this.
But here we are.
Okay, here we are. There is that to me when I saw the movie 10 years ago or whatever it was. When the movie ended, I sort of sat back and went, "Wait a second! These story threads never came together in the script. There was never a moment. They never played the moment where it's like, wait a second, you escaped from his son's wedding and now his father is chasing me and all of these Shakespearean, wait, you're a boy?" It's like it never happens. It's just Burt Reynolds never knows the movie that Sally Field is in. He never knows the movie that Jackie Gleason is in. It's like everyone's sort of in their own narrative thing.
She exited stage right on the movie.
It could never happen now. Literally the first round of notes would be, what the fuck?
Give us a scene before she comes into the movie. That's right.
Or end of act 2 is they all understand, oh shit.
Right.
That's why, this guy's going to murder me. The stakes just went way up. Now they don't do it. And I think it works that they don't do it because it's another way of saying, really, do you really give a fuck? Is it going to make you care about this movie anymore? if Burt Reynolds knows that you ran out on Buford Justice's son's wedding? Is that really going to do it for the audience? Is that what you're looking for in this movie? No, you're not. You're looking for an Asian guy yelling bonsai and ripping the door off Buford Justice's car. That's what you're looking for. And guess what? That's what we're going to give you. That and a Diablo sandwich. Go home.
Diablo sandwich. We're not the only ones. What is a Diablo sandwich? Well, a Diablo sandwich, it would be leading me to believe everything that I've read on the internet today. Because, mind you, that was like the first thing I looked up. And it was like, I'm ordering a Diablo sandwich. I was like, what is this? I gotta know. I gotta know what this is.
It's like a sloppy Joe, right? Like a spicy sloppy Joe?
Online. Yeah, it's a spicy sloppy Joe, which, by the way, that sounds pretty good.
It does. It does.
Sloppy Joes.
I've never had one.
Wait, you never had a sloppy Joe or a Diablo sandwich?
Sloppy Joe.
Good God, man.
What?
Tell me what this is, because
I don't wait, this needs to be broken. We need to have a conversation here. How is that possible?
It's not.
When would have I the only place I would have had
growing
one
up
would have been the school cafeteria, but like
did your mom cook growing up?
But I'm going to defend Cullen, even though I'm sad that you've never had a sloppy Joe, but you're still alive.
That's a new sentence that's been uttered into existence, by the way. I am sad you've never had a sloppy Joe. Type that shit on Richard's headstone, folks.
But here's the thing. It's not on every menu. It's not like a Reuben or a club sandwich that like any diner you walk into. It's not like every fucking diner has a sloppy Joe. Just fucking order it. They don't. Sloppy Joe doesn't appear on menus for the most part.
It does here. There's actually restaurants devoted solely to sloppy Joes.
Well, but I love how Chris said, didn't your mom make it? Because that's really what it is. It's a mom thing. My mom made sloppy Joes all the way through until I was in college. I was coming home every night and heating up the sloppy Joe slop and putting it on the burger bun. And it's the most delicious thing you've ever had. Now, here's the question, though. Sloppy Joe, do you put mayo on the bun?
I've never done it, but I wouldn't be opposed to trying it.
Can you just actually explain exactly what it is? So it's some sort of like ground beef, but it's not.
So let me
together like a hamburger.
Correct. So let me walk you through how you make it. You take beef, ground beef. Richard wants to hear about Chris flexing with how he makes food. So here you go. And Father Malone, step in here if I've said anything or you make it a different way, because I'm sure you've made it before. You take some beef, you brown it in a pan. Then you can drain it or not. Maybe you want to cook some onions. Maybe you don't. It's kind of up to you. Sloppy Joe, I think, is rather much the Sloppy Joe is the canvas for which you apply the paint of whatever you want. You can you can make it spicy. Often, Cullen, what it essentially is browned meat in a pan, then mixed with onions, tomato sauce.
Bugs crashing your pack's party? Whether they've got paws or sneakers, your pack deserves a home that's protected from pests. That's where Wondercide comes in. Plant-powered protection made with steam-distilled natural essential oils that actually work. It kills and repels fleas, ticks, mosquitoes, and ants without questionable ingredients or overpowering smells. Safe to use around kids and pets when used as directed. Lab-proven to work fast. And proudly made in the USA. We offer sprays for pets, people, homes, and yards. Plus, spot-on treatments, collars, and even shampoos. Whatever your pack needs, we've got it covered. Founded by a pet parent looking for a better way to protect her dog Luna, Wondercide's now protected over 21 million lives and counting. You might have even seen us on Shark Tank. Go to Wondercide.com and use code WONDER20 for 20% off your first order. That's WONDER20 at Wondercide.com. Wondercide. Protect your pack with plant-powered Wondercide today.
Hello, this is Chris Haskell from They Live by Film. For those that don't know us, Adam, Zach, and I, we built a podcast over the last 2 years that's a combination of film discussion from 3 very different perspectives, as well as industry interviews with the leaders in boutique Blu-ray and 4K community. We started with Dev Crocodile, but over time we've been lucky enough to speak with Arrow Video, Severin, Mondo Macabro, Vinegar Syndrome, Radiance, Indicator, most of the OCN partner labels. It's been a blast. You can find us wherever you podcast, and also actually recently as part of Someone's Favorite Production Podcast Network. We hope to see you online.
Or ketchup Worcestershire, and other seasonings, and then scooped onto a bun. Sometimes
this sounds fucking delicious.
It's sometimes served with coleslaw.
It is. You've got such an experience headed your way.
It is.
When you said the coleslaw, that even added a little bit of
and you know what? Get crazy. Put the coleslaw on top of the fucking thing.
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't it be in the sandwich?
You know what it is? It's like a cheap man's pulled pork sandwich.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know how to do pulled pork, and I don't have the means or the wherewithal, so this is kind of like the ground beef version.
And here's some idiosyncrasy in the world of sloppy joes. My mother made it with 4 slices of white bread with the sloppy joe ladled onto each bread and then just like a stack.
Whoa.
And then you eat it with
like
a fork.
Type thing.
So it was like bread, sloppy joe, bread, sloppy joe, bread, sloppy joe, bread.
Well, like 4 pieces maybe. I mean, but yeah,
fuck.
and then we would eat it with a fork like at dinner.
Father, how many siblings did you have?
1.
So mom would serve this to dad and you and your brother, sister?
Sister.
And your sister. This to me, and you were born in the year of our Lord 1972?
3.
Okay. This is the 70s. This is like white bread and beefaroni.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like, how do I feed people cheaply? Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
This was the suburban cuisine of the 70s, and the stacks of bread, which I have not heard of, but that's genius, because that's like, you know what? You feed this to the kids and it shuts them up way until bedtime,
Yeah.
So here's the term that you can impress your friends with. Do you know what a sloppy joe is called if you don't want to call it a sloppy joe, and maybe you want to order it on a menu and it sound exponentially more disgusting? So you guys probably don't know this term because you're not from the Midwest. I'm not from the Midwest either, but they call it this here. There's a place in town called the Tasty Trailer. Tasty spelled Tastee, Tasty Trailer.
Natural.
And all they serve are, and you guys are going to love this because it does not at all sound appealing, loose meat sandwiches.
What? Oh. No.
And so on Wikipedia right now, a tavern sandwich, also called a loose meat sandwich or loose meat, is a sandwich consisting of ground beef mixed with sauteed onions, sometimes topped with pickles, ketchup, mustard, and cheese. It's essentially a sloppy joe without the binding agent of tomato sauce and ketchup, because sloppy joe is almost like meat. It's like a meatloaf paste because it has the tomato and the ketchup in it. A loose meat sandwich is like loose meat, ground beef on a bun with it's like a chopped up hamburger, essentially.
Yeah.
Loose meat sounds like a good band name.
Loose meat sounds like something that someone would use as a euphemism for having a runny bowel movement.
Oh, fuck.
Which would also be a good name for a band, Cullen, to be fair. It's pretty fucking metal.
That's the better name for the band.
I think the consistency of the meat, is part of the charm, and the fact that it has not.
It kind of sticks together.
Well, when you put it on a white hamburger bun or on white bread, the bread does a lot of sponge action and becomes delicious, sort of gooey, tomatoey, and you can eat a sloppy joe sort of, but there's always a fork nearby, because after the sloppy joe is consumed, the second meal is the cleanup of everything that has fallen out onto the plate, and that's all part of the experience.
So Cullen, what essentially is going on here is when we all get together, whenever that is, the inevitability of it is coming, we will, instead of the Avengers ate shawarma, we will eat sloppy joe sandwiches.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, look, and they're Sheriff. I was gonna say Sheriff Lobo approved, but they're not Sheriff Lobo approved. They're Sheriff Justice Buffered or Buffered Buford T. Justice Buffered Bufferton. But the Diablo sandwich is a spicy sloppy joe.
Far be it from me to invite myself over to someone else's, area, but I think our meeting should take place in Vegas. Now, it doesn't have to be in Father Malone's house. It could be at one of the many hotels and casinos.
But it does have to be inside of Father Malone.
But I think it's important I think that's a good place for people to meet. I think a sloppy joe we could find in a restaurant on the Strip, don't you?
Yeah. I bet Gordon Ramsay has a $30 sloppy joe he would love for you to buy.
Certainly.
I'm just floating the idea. I'm just sitting down.
I'm still, Cullen, I'm curious. Will you be making a Sloppy Joe in the next month?
Probably not, because we don't have AC or a fan in the kitchen. So I am trying to make as many dinners without having to turn on the stove.
A lot of salads.
Yes, past 2 nights.
You guys like cold food? It's fucking hot.
It's pasta salad tonight.
Later this week, it will be.
But yeah, I mean, it's what's kind of funny? We don't really talk about food on this podcast. Obviously, given it's a movie podcast, weird. But Richard always jokes about how, and it's rightfully so. I do cook a lot. I know Father Malone, you cook a lot. I know Cullen, you do as well. It's really weird to me that this, I know Richard doesn't cook. He's making the I don't cook face. I mean, look, he's from Los Angeles. What do you expect? He's a West Coast elite. West Coast elite.
I have
hey.
delivered to me.
I'm sorry, sir. Oh,
I lived in Santa Monica for basically the 90s.
It's true.
And I got to say, I didn't cook then either, because why the fuck would you?
Yeah, no, I mean, you live in Los Angeles. I don't blame you. That notwithstanding, though, I find it very funny how much people get hung up on this Diablo sandwich. Because, it's not like it's heralded as some sort of grand thing in this movie. He's just like, give me a Diablo sandwich. I got to go. And it's like, okay. But that was the first thing I looked up. I guarantee you it's because of that cool-ass name.
There's only so much to disseminate from the movie is the thing, Chris.
That's fair.
This is true.
But I mean, the way Jackie Gleason eats it. I mean, first of all, when you're acting and eating, that's really hard. And when you're filming people eating, it gets very difficult because it's like, oh, wait, cut. We got to do it again. Get a fresh Diablo sandwich in there. Is he really eating it? Now, Gleason could eat 10 Diablo sandwiches. So that was probably, they didn't have to have the spit bucket where he's not actually swallowing it because he wants to keep his, Do
you know what his waist size was during the filming of this movie, Richard?
Lay it on me.
64, my dude. They had to make a custom outfit for him. The outfits that were being made were made custom because of his portly stature, as a portly man would say himself.
He is fucking eating that sandwich as he's doing this one take where they're not cutting a lot. They do cut to Burt Reynolds for a couple of really funny takes. But basically he's just eating and he's talking and he's doing the accent and the food is on his lip and he got to wipe it off his lip and it swallow and then he got another burp. And it's a fucking tour de force of food. It's amazing.
I agree. And from what I've gathered, most of Jackie Gleason's lines he came up with himself. Yep. And he would sort of change from take to take.
Not surprising.
I love that.
I also really like the fact that the movie takes a food and bathroom break.
Yeah.
I do too. That's one of the best parts, actually.
It doesn't take a sleeping break, but you do wonder, it's like, well, they've got to go 10-100 at some point, and even 10-200.
Hey, even the dog needs some food. And then they take a second break.
And to swim.
For him to eat. So I have a question about the swimming thing. And so from what I gather, the way they cast Fred, or, Happy, was they got to Atlanta. They didn't have a dog. They had a dog contest, and there were 400 entries. Sally Field and Hal Needham narrowed it down to 10. And Burt wanted, he had something specific that he wanted. He wanted an old dog with a doleful expression and the temperament of a gopher. He also wanted something that was really dumb, ugly, and did not follow directions.
So he picked a basset hound, the most stubborn of all dog breeds.
But when Jerry Reed is trying to get Fred to come back in the truck after eating the hamburger and he goes for a swim, did the dog actually just go for a swim, do you think?
I don't know. That's a good question. I kind of feel like it. I mean, there's so much of this movie that doesn't feel scripted.
Yeah, I do wonder how much they stuck to what had been written ahead of time. Because I know Sally Field has said in interviews that Burt was just making shit up for her as they went along. Richard, what do you think about that? Oh, joke doesn't work. He's back.
Damn you. So close.
I was hiding. I just stand right off screen waiting for this kind of bullshit. And then I just dive.
Oh, okay.
I'm not going to try to be clever anymore.
You don't have to try, man. You exude clever.
Can I just say that I want to address the sort of the major plot point in the film, the Coors. So evidently, the problem was that Coors wasn't pasteurized. And there were 9 states along the eastern seaboard that would not allow the sale of that because it hadn't been pasteurized. Oh. But evidently, if you were to buy Coors and transport it across state lines and not intend to sell it, it was not bootleg. So it is a great premise. It's just kind of a flawed one.
Oh, so you could bring. So I could go and buy Coors, bring it home for myself. Yeah. Consume it all day,
which is effectively what they're doing,
and drink it all day.
Yeah. So Big Enos bought the Coors and wanted to just drink it and not sell it.
That is amazing, and I'm glad you brought that up because I didn't know that. But can we talk about Big Enos and Little Enos?
Yes, let's.
Let's talk about their names first. Great names.
These are characters with a concept behind them that are simply thrown down in front of us. And when we are, again, dared to question their legitimacy on planet Earth. Big Enos and Little Enos, a father played by Pat McCormick, who's
fantastic.
Yeah.
Very big guy. Paul Williams, little guy. They dress alike. And all we really know about them is they're incredibly wealthy. And I guess all they do is sort of fuck around by making bets and having people try to do things. And they just have more money than God. There's this great scene early on where it's like they're betting that Burt Reynolds can't go and get this beer and bring it back. Okay. But now they're going to pay Burt Reynolds to do it for some reason. It's like, okay, well, Burt Reynolds is like, well, I'm going to need a car. I'm going to need a speedy car. And they're just counting
a faster car than that.
Yeah. Okay. Here's a few more $100 bills, which will buy a Trans Am apparently. And I'm gonna need, and they're just like doling out money. What did Burt Reynolds have on the line? What was it like? Now, if you fail,
nothing.
You just fail. You probably get
right?
caught, is what it is.
As a bootleg.
Because that's the 90-second thing we see at the top of the movie was the last guy that Big Enos tried to get, and it's like, no, they got caught. So it's like, and I love how the cop's like, oh boy, another you guys got taken in by Big Enos and Little Enos. You idiot. Well, now you're going to.
Which begs the question: why don't they just go for Big Enos and Little Enos?
Well, because they're not doing anything wrong. They're just throwing money around.
You know what they say about the proletariat? They're always making they're always making us do their jobs. Okay, that's what this is. This is really about the inequality between the haves and the have-nots. Burt Reynolds has nothing. Little Enos has everything, including a great uniform of just the most gaudy goddamn suits you've ever seen a human being wear.
I do like at the very end of the movie that Big Enos says, "I'll bet 20 to 1 that he can't do it," and Paul Williams really thinks about it, and he goes, "Yeah, I'll take 500 on it."
And we don't hate those guys.
No.
The bad guys. They're just like these weird eccentric characters that apparently the South just, grows like mushrooms. And we don't hate Buford Justice either.
No.
We kind of love him. And before we go on to the many other points we could discuss, I also want to point out that we've got 2 different kinds of comedies going on in this movie. I sort of kind of brushed up against it, but you've really got It Happened One Night with Burt Reynolds and Sally Field. I mean, this is pure, I don't care who you want, Katharine Hepburn, Claudette Colbert. I don't know who Burt Reynolds is. Is he Clark Gable? Is he Cary Grant? That is the nature. That is the history of that kind of comedy between them. They're just pinging, bing, bing, bing with the dialogue. And that is a kind of comedy. And that is that. And then you've got it's the Three Stooges. It's Laurel and Hardy. It's like, I've got to hold my dad's hat on his head while we're driving. And he just fucking hates his son. He just, I can't believe you came out of my loins. And I see your mama, I'm going to punch her in the face.
No. He says punch her in the mouth. He's going to punch a woman in the mouth.
Okay, which is horrible, but hilarious.
Oh, yes. Yes, it is.
Well, she was clearly, cheating on him is what he's getting at.
And it's
so she kind of deserves it,
or it's her that's produced this. Apparently, this guy's an idiot. Okay, but that is a totally other school of comedy. So we get the physical sort of like Laurel and Hardy, Three Stooges, Abbott and Costello of Buford T. Justice and his son, and then you get this other thing. And I got to say, I even enjoyed early in the movie that one scene that you really got between Jerry Reed and Burt Reynolds, and just bingity boppity boop. It's like, okay, here's how we're going to do it. We'll say we're on channel 21, but we're really on channel 19. And when I say 6, we're on 3. And when I say 2, we're on 1. And he's like, that's good. How about this? We can all start in the basement and alternate. We'll go just go odd every other time and keep going up from the basement. And it's like, oh, yeah, I guess that works too. They've got their own sort of like comic voice, comic dance going on. And I think that really helps the movie, because it's just you're in one or you're in the other. And just when you get tired of the sweet, you get the salty.
See, that to me is the disconnect in the movie, though, because like everyone is so charming and it's so fun. And, I said at the top, it's kind of just breezy. And then when you introduce the sort of slapstick comedy, it's just really jarring. And I don't know. I loved it as a kid, but which is not to say I'm not one of these people who hate slapstick. Like, I love the Three Stooges. I think they're fucking great. And Laurel and Hardy, everybody. It's just that, I don't know, it feels out of place in the film, and it, to me, slowed down what should be a fucking bullet of a movie. There's another car movie, Bullet.
So wait, okay, so let me ask you. So like, are you saying you love the Burt Reynolds Sally Field as opposed to the Buford T. Justice?
Yeah,
or you just wanted to see Burt Reynolds and Jerry Reed?
Yes,
that's what you wanted. Yeah,
I wanted. You know what? I wanted the cops to be just a faceless mob chasing them down. Like,
it's that dynamic. I didn't. It's their dynamic going back and forth through the whole movie.
Yeah, they're great, man. And the other part that I really like in the movie is when, at a certain point, there are spectators now helping them.
Right.
Like the scene with the chicken in the basket, that whole sequence. I love that. I wanted that for the entire movie.
You know what that reminded me of? That reminded me of the Warriors a little bit, where it's like, we're going to help you out. Like the faceless, like just the chorus of people who are like, have a vested interest, or, I just happened to see you and like, fuck the cops, bro. So like,
Well, it's like the Warriors if every one of those truckers was trying to kill them.
Sure. So it's like reverse Warriors. That's the only thing I can think of. Like.
Yes.
Well,
Fast and Furious rips off one of the later sort of mass scenes where they call on all their friends to come over and like confuse the cops.
Right.
I think my girlfriend thinks it's the second movie. We just rewatched all of them and I couldn't remember which. But
Too Fast, Too Furious.
One might say that it's all about family in the end, and that's all that really matters.
Okay. Look. I don't know about you. I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
It's been a long road without you, my friend, but we'll meet there all together when I see you again. That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
I don't think Burt Reynolds and Jerry Reed live their life a quarter mile at a time. I think they do it at like a 18-hour stretch of driving at a time.
Live their life 900 miles at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was plenty of the citizenry rallying to the cause again of this, like, guys, just buy it. He's a legend. Everyone knows who he is.
He's the dude.
And everyone has a vested interest in making sure he accomplishes whatever it is he's trying to do that they're not really clear on, and it's not going to benefit them, as long as he can avoid getting stopped by the Smokey. So I think the anti-cop sentiment is quite modern, and I have had a conversation within the last 6 months with another writer who's like, listen, the smartest guy in the world is going to remake Smokey and the Bandit with and you know what I mean? And I'm like,
absolutely.
And you're the smartest guy in the world because you're going to do this, right?
Yeah,
Richard?
fuck, we're going to do it now.
Yeah, what are you talking to us for?
Yeah, why are you talking to us?
I got to go. This is the thing.
You can't. I'm probably going to cut this part out just for you, Richard, because you need to write this movie,
no one
pal.
steals this idea. Yeah.
No one should steal this. It's way too good of an idea.
I mean,
well, okay. Why did the person who told you that idea? Why did the person who told you that idea not do it themselves?
All we do is avoid the work we're supposed to do on Titans.
Oh, okay. So you guys are just so the West Coast elite are just like us.
Yes, we start by talking about what movie we watched last night or what we saw and how to and why it was great, and now it's ripe for an update and a new version and whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of it's like, but it's always just put a black guy in. It's like if you're gonna do Spencer Confidential with fucking Mark Wahlberg, who I love, but if you're gonna redo Spencer, switch it around. Hawk is the white guy, Spencer is the black guy, and keep a great partnership dynamic, but just switch it around, update it, do something new. So that's kind of where these conversations lead to things like should be in Smokey and the Bandit 2021.
I mean, I could go as far as to say that I think that there should be more movies like this movie. And Cullen, do not take this as an affront to your love of Fast and the Furious. I find Fast and the Furious to just be, it's just dumb. And look, I think it unabashedly, it revels in how stupid it has gotten. I think you would agree, obviously. I think that's what makes it good in a way, is it's just kind of like, who gives a shit anymore? Like, they went to space in the most recent movie, which was the joke for the longest time. The joke was, when are they going to go to space? 9. There's your fucking answer. There needs to be more car movies like this one. Like smaller in scope, less about cars flying out of helicopters and airplanes with parachutes on them.
And always good to see cars being destroyed practically.
Right, exactly. That's kind of what I'm getting at.
Okay, but really quickly, my answer to you tonally is they did it. It was not officially a Fast and Furious movie. It was a little thing called Hobbs and Shaw. And I think tonally, it gets close to what you're talking.
Have you ever wanted to dive deeper into the horror movies you love? Beyond the Blood is a horror podcast for fans who want more than just surface level screams. We do deep dives into the movies that shaped us, digging into director commentaries, behind-the-scenes stories, deleted scenes, and the special features that most people skip. Each episode is a love letter to the genre. We break down how these films were made, the creative risks that paid off or didn't, and the lasting impact they've had on the genre as a whole. From 70s slashers to modern nightmares, we celebrate the craft, chaos, and characters that keep us coming back. If you're the kind of fan who rewatches movies with the commentary on, or you simply grew up in the video store horror aisle, the Beyond the Blood podcast was made for you. New episodes every single week. Subscribe, and let's dig deep. Welcome to the Beyond the Blood podcast.
Okay, but it gets close to this because it's like, okay, we are going to fully embrace the ridiculousness of this, and we're going to fully embrace the comedy of it. And there were a handful. I mean, it was insane. It was off the rails, but there were a handful of comic sequences in that movie that I think you could almost go, yeah, spiritually, it's a relative to Smokey and the Bandit. Yes, it had a much bigger budget. Yes, it was all CGI, and we should talk about the fact that no one died in this movie is a fucking miracle.
Yes,
Hal Needham knew what the hell he was doing.
What?
Yeah, I mean, can we just say Hal Needham is a fucking giant? I mean, I think as a filmmaker, I think he's very workmanlike. I think like a journeyman filmmaker. Like I never at no point did I think like the movie isn't well directed. It isn't necessarily artistic, but it didn't need to be. So he's kind of the perfect guy for it. Like I enjoy his movies, but like you cannot sort of overestimate his contribution to like the world of stunts, like
Yeah.
So there's what I totally agree, and there's one thing that I saw in this movie, and I didn't realize that it wasn't a stunt. It's because apparently most everything went as planned, but there's a scene where Buford T. Justice tries to cut off Jerry Reed and hits the front tire and starts spinning out. That was all a complete fucking accident. They turned too quickly.
And it worked, but it works in the movie, the way that they left.
Yeah, and nobody got hurt. But like,
that is,
just watching it, it's like, man, that driving is so good. And it's like, oh, that's because they're trying to save their life.
it feels like you're kind of watching a Jackie Chan movie a little bit. It's like, oh, this is not okay. You should not put anyone in the position of having to do this. The one stunt that made me feel that way was the one when Buford's car went under the truck and there was that cable and it sheared the top of the car off, and they went in slow motion to the degree that you could see then the stuntman sit up. And you're like, oh, so there's a guy in the car driving it under the truck, and the whole top of it gets ripped off. And it's like, okay, but now we want you to sit up so we know that your head was right there. I mean, that's fucking crazy.
Totally insane.
And what's even crazier is this movie comes out, 3 years after the original Gone in 60 Seconds, which you have H.B. Halicki. This is a movie that we just covered on the Projection Booth, which you should go check out. Richard was just on the Projection Booth recently as well, talking about Planet of the Apes. Shameless plug here for our friend Mike White, who brought many of us together through the grace of podcasting. H.B. Halicki in that movie does all of his own stunts, essentially compresses his spine permanently, has to walk with a cane for the rest of his life because he has this stunt at the end of the movie where he jumps a car off of a ramp and compresses his spine permanently, has to walk with a cane, ends up dying in like the third movie that he makes, okay? You look at this movie and it is less of a spectacle, but I'm okay with that because that means it was probably better controlled. Clearly. Burt Reynolds didn't have to walk with a cane for the rest of his life.
I want to believe.
Just watching the 18-wheeler near the end where it's like screeching around corners, like that gave me pause. I actually gasped when they came into the stadium. I was like, ah, and it's so well controlled. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure somebody must have been hurt on some Hal Needham movie, but I can't imagine it was too serious.
Well, the fact that Hal Needham was a stunt coordinator, I'm going to assume that he had some method of making sure people were safe, but I also think that's kind of what it was then. I think it was sort of like, well, part of the deal is you're probably going to break some bones in your career as a stuntman. So, but that's the only way to get things that are going to look cool. See, now we have other ways to have things that look cool. They don't look as cool as this. My kids watch movies from the 70s and gasp. They're like, what the hell? That guy just laid down that bike. And it's like, yeah, they did. That was fucking crazy. That guy flew out that window. That is true. They feel it. It feels different.
There was some Belmondo movie we watched recently, and it's like involving doing shit on like planes like that above the ground. And it's like Belmondo was actually doing a lot of this stuff.
Well, so speaking of contemporary things, I guess it was announced last year. I don't know if any of us in this podcast know about this.
I have no idea what you're about to say.
That a Smokey and the Bandit TV show is being developed.
I had not heard about this.
Oh, boy.
It is.
I don't want this.
I don't want it. Cullen's response is the perfect and correct response. When I start naming the people who are involved in this project, Richard, you may know some of them. I know Cullen. You will know some of them. And Father Malone, you will as well. The pilot is being written by David Gordon Green. It is also being produced by Jody Hill and Danny McBride and Seth MacFarlane.
Oh,
well, that only makes sense.
I like Jody Hill, but like, I'm just doing this again. Like, we already, Father Malone, you can agree with me probably. We didn't even need Smokey 2. Burt Reynolds has gone on the record. We didn't need Smokey 2.
Yeah.
Not only Smokey 2, Smokey 3, and Smokey the TV series.
Yeah. Look, this movie actually is lightning in a bottle. Like, all of its charms are based on the sort of alchemical reaction of all of these disparate elements coming together. Like, remaking it is insane. I felt the same way when they decided to remake Suspiria. I'm like, that movie only works because what if Dario Argento did? It's like, it's not that great a plot, and it's just it is what it was. Like, I don't know, maybe they can mine some interesting thing out of it, but it will not have the same effect.
Let me give you my take on what this is. Okay. I know David Gordon Green. He did a pilot that I worked on. So I know him. I don't know him super well, but I know him well enough. I worked with him every day for 2.5 months. So right when he finished that pilot was when he was going in. And by the way, this guy works 360 days a year. He just works all the time. He's made 50 movies you've never heard of in the last 6 months, probably. He does, and when he's not doing a movie, he's doing commercials. All he wants to do is work. When he finished the project he was on with me, when he was starting Halloween. Halloween as a remake was a much bigger hit than anyone expected. And what I think this is his relationship with Danny McBride is one of the key relationships in his life, if not the primary relationship. They did a show together called Eastbound and Down. They're big fucking fans of this movie, obviously. And for a guy to do a reboot of a movie that is really successful, who is also known for comedy, who gets his friends together and mentions the name of a franchise from 30 years before, that deal's going to get made. Now, pilot's probably never going to get made. Show's never going to get made, but that deal is going to get made. And that article is going to have life on deadlinehollywood.com. And that is what I think that is. Now, if it goes forward, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, Seth Rogen, Danny McBride, David Gordon Green. Yeah, no one's going to get fired for greenlighting that. But is it really going to go forward? I would say the odds are pretty slim. They may want to do it. They may think it's going to be the most fun they've ever had in their lives. And it might turn out to be a fun-ish thing. Cullen, I don't think you have anything to worry about.
I just wish they would do something not Smokey related, because I like David Gordon Green. I've seen only a couple things. I liked George Washington. I know that is nothing like the comedy stuff, but I'm just tired of just redoing the intellectual property. I would rather them come up with their own car heist, movie.
I mean, I don't as much as I wasn't even a fan of Baby Driver, which I know, Father Malone, you're a fan of. I mean, that's an original concept, courtesy of one Edgar Wright, and that's a car movie in the not like Smokey and the Bandit, but in the vein of movies like Smokey and the Bandit. I'm with you, Cullen. I mean, look, I'm with you, Cullen, on this, regardless of it being Smokey and the Bandit, or fucking Star Wars, or Halloween, or Suspiria, or I could keep going. Father Malone could keep going along with me back and forth. I can see you thinking about it in your head. I don't need that, but the problem is with the industry the way it is, things don't, and Richard would echo this, things don't get made as an original idea anymore. It's much harder because you gotta figure out a point of reference for the people you're trying to sell these things to. You legit have to give them what the point of reference is, because trust me, as Richard would attest to, they're not going to go out and figure it out for themselves. They want you to tell them what it is.
When you're pitching stuff, you're talking to people who are not making the final decision. So what's happening is after that meeting, they've got to go talk to their bosses.
Right.
And it's nice to be able to tell your boss, hey, boss at Universal, these guys who are known for funny action came in and want to remake one of our titles that's just going to monetize something we already own.
That's sitting on a shelf.
Yeah. It makes it very easy to walk into your boss's office and go, okay, here's the meeting I had today. I think we should really consider this. And it makes it really easy for that boss to go, yeah, it's a fucking no-brainer. Throw him some money, have him write a pilot, and we'll worry about it in 6 months.
I mean, it's like what was happening in the 90s. You literally had movie studios going, it's Jurassic Park in A or on A. That was the selling point. It's either you go in with the franchise or the IP, the intellectual property, and you're doing that, or you're doing something close to that and using that as the frame of reference.
Die Hard on a Train.
Jurassic Park in a museum. That's the Relic, by the way, Richard. That's literally how that shit. That's how that shit was sold.
I didn't get that.
Is Jurassic Park in a museum? The Relic, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, it's one of my favorite books, and that is how fucking simplistic it is, but yet it works on that level.
So I should see The Relic.
You should read the book, not watch the movie.
Oh, okay.
I mean, watch the movie. It's, it's a Peter Hyams film, so it's filmed behind very dark lenses and impossible to see anything, but it has a cool creature with Stan Winston, so.
I like creatures.
Do you like Tom Sizemore? Nobody likes Tom Sizemore. Why am I asking that question?
I don't have an opinion.
I like Tom Sizemore. Look, I'm not saying as a human, I don't know. I like his performances,
That's fair.
He doesn't seem to be hurting anyone but himself.
That's fair. So. But I mean, again, it's not surprising that Smokey and the Bandit is getting the old Hollywood treatment. like Richard said, regardless of it ever happening, is a different story. But
you know what? I just want to say this. This occurred to me while I was watching the movie. It felt a lot like a Disney movie, like the kind of movies that Disney used to just sort of pump out for like the drive-in circuit. You know, like Kurt Russell's movies. Obviously, this is on a higher level and not as sort of thoughtless as the Disney movies were, but I still got the same sort of loose vibe while I was watching the movie.
Yeah, I can see that.
What do you want?
I think I know what you're talking about. Like, I almost sort of know the shot maybe that you're talking about where the car is balancing on the edge of the pier.
Oh, absolutely. That's exactly when it came into focus for me.
And then the car.
Yeah, because that would totally be in a Disney movie, like Herbie the Love Bug kind of sort of situation, you know?
Nobody really gets hurt in this movie.
Nope.
Even like the bar fight, you know, Jerry Reed gets a couple of punches and it's like he gets thrown out the door. It's like, you know, kind of a joke. And it's like, okay, now I'm just going to get revenge and ride over these motorcycles and then move on with my life. And then people are going to laugh because I always lose fights. Ha ha ha. I'm not good at fighting. Yeah. I like the low stress of this movie. I really like movies without a lot of stress. This doesn't have a lot of like melodramatic tension.
Yeah.
It's just,
you could just put it on in the background, really.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like this became my like, oh, I had a good day. I want to continue the vibe. I'm going to throw this on. Oh, I had a bad day. I'm going to throw this on. It just, it makes me happy. So.
I don't want to be like a 12-year-old, but I just want to confirm with you guys. So Burt Reynolds' character, Bandit and Frog, they had sex in the movie, right?
Yeah, because she said, you know,
take off the hat.
Yep, that's the one.
Okay, so all right, I just want to make sure, like I've seen it, and then I saw it again, and I'm like, okay, so we're saying they had sex, and when we come back and see them, she's sort of lying in his lap, and they're very physical. A physical boundary has been crossed. I'm just like, okay, so I just want to make sure everyone is.
You know the song "Eastbound and Down," the down part, Richard.
Oh ho ho.
That's what the eastbound is where Jerry Reed was going. Down is where Burt Reynolds was going.
Going eastbound, she's going down.
Yeah, I mean, do you blame her? Jesus Christ! Look at Junior Justice and look at Burt Reynolds. I mean, that's like you know, a candle and a turd with a wick stuck in it. I mean,
but it's interesting what Father Malone said about the Disney movie, because this movie is cruder for sure and has more adult themes.
But yet they don't really pull the trigger on it. It is.
No, they don't. No, there ends up being kind of no consequences.
No.
And that's kind
shit.
of why
they don't even
like
say fuck in this movie. They bleep out the fuck in a very Disney way, where it's like, "You mother," like literally the movie gets in the way of the punchline, so it becomes the punchline. But that's very Disney. Like that's a very like pull the trigger, but it's just empty.
Reminded me of Freaky Friday. There's like a bunch of car stuff at the end of that movie where like a cop car gets sheared in half, like going through the LA reservoirs, and like nothing happens. The cops are okay. They're just like, like that's what this movie felt like.
Yeah. But it's like, it's like if Disney's for the 10-year-old, this movie was for the 15-year-old.
Right.
Certainly.
Because there were a couple like kind of sex jokes, and there was some language, but not the F word. And of course, the great moment where Buford Justice sees the sheriff that he had been talking to on the radio and sees that he's black and is surprised and says, "Well, on the radio, you sounded taller."
Jackie Gleason, ladies and gentlemen, breaking down comedy barriers.
Jackie Gleason, who enjoyed his drink and was not known for spending long days on the set. And I don't know if it was during this era, but certainly in the 80s, when you hired Jackie Gleason, you hired a man who at 5 p.m., no matter what was happening in the shooting day, would stand up, say, "Gentlemen, it's been a pleasure."
So there is Burt Reynolds talks. He did do a lot of drinking on set, but Burt was talking about the production, and he said, Hal broke every day at 5 o'clock, and the cast and crew would be in the local bar by 5:15. Jackie would hold court, and Jerry would sing country songs into the wee smalls. But at 6 the next morning, everybody would be on set ready to go.
That sounds so fucking cool, man. Like fucking hell, dude. Come on. Just throw Oliver Reed in there. Get Oliver Reed in
Right?
there, and that fucking town would have been burned to the ground.
That is filmmaking from another era. That's also filmmaking where the studio is not looking. The studio is like, here's your money, deliver us a film. We don't give a shit. It's kind of like you said. And that kind of thing just doesn't happen. I mean, like, I don't even know if Clint Eastwood movies are like that. I mean, they're known for 8-hour shooting days, but the notion that you then retire to a bar where a fucking legend regales you with stories and then the other guy just is a musical legend. I want to cry. That's not the Hollywood we live in now.
I'm sorry.
It is. I mean, again, like you said, Richard, there is something about this movie, the way it feels, that feels so special. And that, I mean, those stories are part and parcel. Like, that's part of it. I mean, you know, I was talking with Mike White, you know, once again, and I had mentioned him, like, why are they making TV shows about, like, the making of The Godfather and shit like that? Like, is it necessary? No. But to Richard, your point, to the story that Cullen just told, those stories might actually be more interesting than the movie that they're made into. Like, you know, The Godfather is an amazing film. Obviously, it's a cinema classic. I'm not going to sit here and degrade The Godfather. I'm not a whistling idiot. But the stories from that film that took place with, I mean, like the mafia's influence and stuff like that, and getting their grubby little fingers into everything. I mean, that's interesting, right? So
that's most of Coppola's movies.
Well,
right?
yeah.
It always sounds like the story behind the film is as interesting as the film. And that's where Coppola, I think, is more interesting because the film ends up being good.
Yeah.
Because you can take something like Fitzcarraldo, like the behind the scenes documentary on that is fucking genius. And I can't get through the movie.
No.
So
because the movie is, you know.
Aw, I love the movie.
I love the movie too,
boy.
but the documentary about it is way better.
They're both great. I love Les Blanc. I love Herzog.
Oh, who doesn't?
The jungle, it's a fornication. I thought it was romantic. It is not.
I want to see the child. Show me the child. This is the same man, folks. The same man. Who would have thought that Fitzcarraldo would be directed by the same man who would later usher in the era of Baby Yoda? Not I, and definitely not Father Malone.
No.
That's not the bingo square.
Not unwelcome.
No, not unwelcome at all. Not unwelcome at all. It's I would actually like to hear, read more about the stories behind the making of this movie. Because, I mean, it's amazing. Like, Jackie Gleason, again, it is crazy to me that Jackie Gleason is in this movie in a way. Because, like, I don't know him as this. I know him as To the Moon, Alice to the Moon. I mean, fucking Honeymooners. Like, which is, again, as far removed from that character as possible. I mean, this is shitheel of shitheels.
Well, I read that he had an assistant who, if he asked for a hamburger, it meant get me a glass of vodka on this particular production.
Guys, you got to understand that up until quite recently, if you saw a movie with, if you see a movie with these people, you're seeing them drunk. It's like,
oh yeah,
were made with like just the prop master was responsible for everyone's alcohol and responsible for hiding it in props. It's like, well, give him a cane and make it hollow and he can drink it. It's just like, this was
the true golden age of cinema.
Have you all seen Sergeants 3?
No,
it's the Rat Pack remake of Gunga Dean. But my favorite scene in that, Dean Martin just walks into like this abandoned saloon and there's cobwebs everywhere, but there's still a sign on the wall that says like no serving soldiers. And he just like pours himself a drink and drinks it. And there's like no cuts. And it's just like utterly silent, still shot, just like him drinking in front of a sign that says no drinking.
But we're going to have to do that again, like 4 more times, at least.
I just thought that scene just kills me.
I mean, if they're all drunk, which we assume that they were, at least, Jackie Gleason was, functioning very well.
Functioning alcohol.
Something to be said for a functioning alcoholic.
Yeah. I don't want to call him an alcoholic, but that's what he was, clearly. It's okay.
Yeah.
We all have our vices, ladies.
It was the
gentlemen.
style of the time, you see.
I mean, look, Richard and I talked about last year our good friend Oliver Reed, drunk all the time, literally.
Yeah, it's like Oliver Reed and Ellen Bates and Albert Finney and
Richard Harris,
Peter O'Toole.
all these guys were known for just being
Hellraisers.
Yeah.
That's literally their term. That's what the Brits call them. Hellraisers.
But I mean, I'm assuming when they went on stage live, I'm assuming when they stepped in front of a camera, it was with some fortification. And there are stories of television shows that we grew up with. I mean, everything from Little House on the Prairie to Nash Bridges, where there was, and probably every other show in the 80s, there was all kinds of party favors going on all the time. It was fucking in the budget.
Well, if it wasn't, it should have been, because how else are these people going to work?
I guess it's not happening now, man. Now it's fucking, you're wearing a mask.
You can't. It's real hard to drink when you're wearing a mask. That's the Richard Hatem's first album. It's real hard to drink, when you're wearing a mask.
Speaking of which,
I need to drink.
Yeah, I'm out of seltzer.
Ah.
I'm just sucking on this empty can.
So that's true. So Father Malone, you're not going to be joining us for the rest of the month, but I figured this is as good an opportunity as any to ask you, since you won't be joining us, what is your Burt Reynolds role of choice? The many faces of Burt and Reynolds. Which one do you choose?
I still think Deliverance. Like, that's my favorite Burt Reynolds movie. He's just like, Burt Reynolds is one of these guys. Like, I love him as Burt Reynolds movie star, but I also know that he's a really good actor, and I there's something so sort of subtle about his performance in that movie. It's just like all potential, but it doesn't mean I love or like that love isn't like mutually exclusive. You know what I mean? Like I like Rockabilly Elvis and Fat Jumpsuit Elvis like equally, and so that's kind of how I feel about Burt Reynolds overall. But if you were to say to me, put on a Burt Reynolds movie, it would be Deliverance, or maybe Boogie Nights, because I think he was really, really good in that as well. And I liked, I like Cannonball Run. As far as movie star Burt Reynolds, for me, I love that movie. I can watch it over and over and over again. I hadn't watched Smokey and the Bandit in a long time. I'm probably not going to watch it again, but it did make me want to watch Cannonball Run again. So, and I will say, as much as this movie is lightning in a bottle, I do like the climax of part 2. They have a scene where all the sort of truckers rally and to come save him. And just the mechanics of how they got this shot is amazing. So it may be worth looking up on YouTube or something.
Well, I might watch the second one, because the second one follows this movie's story up. Sally Field is still in it.
If you like these people, you're not going to have a bad time watching the sequel. Do not watch the third, for fuck's sake.
It's that good. Huh?
It's real bad.
Is that the one where Smokey and the Bandit is just Smokey and Jerry Reed is now the Bandit? That's the third one, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Wasn't it supposed to be
Smokey is the Bandit?
Yeah, playing both Jack.
Right, and I think they put out a poster and they had like a trailer for it, and then they just made an entirely different movie.
Wait, what?
Initially, the third Smokey and the Bandit movie was supposed to be called Smokey is the Bandit, and Jackie Gleason was going to take on the role of the Bandit
while still playing Smokey.
Yeah, he was Buford Justice taking on the moniker of Bandit and doing one of his.
Eddie Murphy is the Clumps.
Yeah,
is that what you're talking about? Was he actually playing?
No,
was he actually playing two characters?
I thought he was.
Was he?
I'll defer to you on this.
I think it was just a scenario like what they came up with for the third film anyway, where Jerry Reed just takes on the mantle of the Bandit. Now he's driving the Trans Am. I think it was Buford Justice was going to be driving the Trans Am and going through these adventures and out, evading the police. Because
Jackie Gleason is what, when I watched the first movie, I was like, I really just want to see Jackie Gleason doing more things.
Yeah.
That was where the gold was. I mean, it was gold, but I don't think it was that golden. So Richard, skip it or watch it. Smokey and the Bandit.
Watch it. I'm totally thrown off by this new scale.
Sorry.
I'll pass fail because
pass fail. This will pass fail. Hey, you know why I did this? I used to do this. I will give you my explanation why. If you give a film a star rating, that doesn't speak to whether or not the film's worth watching. It just means you've assigned a quality value score to it. Skip it or watch it. The movie could be abject trash, but it's like, it's a fun watch. So watch it. That's the thing. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say this is a 5-star movie, but I think you should watch it. Just like I wouldn't say The Room is a 5-star movie, but I think everybody should see it once.
I guess like I'm like with a 5-star scale, it's like, oh, that'll be 5, that'll be 4, that'll be 3.5, that'll be 4.5. And now it's like, there's so few, like we've probably talked about movies that I would say, do not see this movie.
Right.
But by the time we finish talking about it, I almost feel like it's like, okay, like father, like son, you should definitely see it based on all the shit we said about it. There's a couple good Dudley Moore scenes or whatever. You know what I mean?
Well, it was a good movie.
Obviously, I'm going to say watch Smokey and the Bandit. And then I'll go further for your listeners and say, I recommend strongly that you see it. I think it's definitely worth having in your, film vocabulary of the 70s.
What about you, Cullen?
Yeah, I mean, I think Richard said it. It's I highly recommend watching it. It's a pretty iconic movie. It's a good touchstone for that era.
Yeah, I would say watch it. Father Malone, watch it.
Yeah, I mean, for all of the sort of cultural reasons and for understanding who Burt Reynolds was, like, and how charming he could be. Like, there's a lot to recommend the movie. I wouldn't say skip the movie if you haven't seen it. You should see it and sort of judge for yourself.
Yeah, I would say watch it. I mean, look, this is my first time watching it, so...
For the song alone.
Yeah,
I mean,
for the song. Eastbound
Jesus
and Down.
Christ.
Holy shit. I mean...
And you get to hear it like 5 times.
Yeah.
Right.
And
you don't get tired of it.
No,
I don't.
No, it's a good song.
In the first half of the movie, it's westbound and down.
Yeah, which I liked a lot that they did that.
I never remembered that. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, they get there, and now when they're heading back, now it's eastbound and down. So,
and you know what's really cool about this movie? So some fans of this film have taken it upon themselves to create something called the Bandit Run, where they actually go from Jonesboro to Texarkana.
Really?
Do you know, it's my understanding that within the 28-hour time frame, if you drive 65 miles an hour, you can do it.
Well, that was a whole thing because that was during the 70s, during the gas crisis and 55-mile-an-hour speed limits. That's what sort of brewed this weird culture of cars and CB radios and trying to get past the Smokies, because in reaction to it was cataclysmic when this law was passed. The social uproar about the national 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. It was crazy. People lost their minds.
I have zero goddamn frame of reference for that, so that's fun.
I do, because I'm old.
That's okay.
Yeah.
So there was
no seatbelts required in this particular movie.
Yeah, right.
Oh my fucking God. I'm like, just please, somebody. I can't. I put a helmet on.
You know what they say? Burt Reynolds and Sally Field would have been just another red splatter on the road. I mean,
I don't want to think about that.
I don't want to think about that either. So put on your fucking seatbelt, Burt Reynolds and Sally Field. God damn it!
Just don't get in the car. I love car movies.
Don't get in the car.
I don't like cars. I never learned to drive. I don't feel comfortable being in them. I don't like being in cabs. I don't like being passengers.
But yet you love the Fast and the Furious movies.
I love car movies.
Fair.
I love Vanishing Point. I love Two Lane Blacktop.
I dig it. I'm not a sports person at all, but I love me a sports movie.
Same. I love sports movies. I'm not good at sports. I don't really like watching them. I don't know much, but
you could maybe make the argument with sports movies, but it sounds like for Cullen, it's like watching car movies is like watching Star Wars. It's just these these amazing vehicles in this fantasy world doing things that you'd never be a part of.
Well, I think you're right, because to me, being in a vehicle is never going to be as satisfying as watching Smokey and the Bandit.
No.
It'll never be as fun. It'll never be as safe. It will never give me the exhilaration as I get just imagining being in that movie.
That's how I feel when I see people having sex in movies.
So to tie that statement back to Smokey and the Bandit, Burt Reynolds, when asked to describe this movie, he said, "It makes you feel good. It's a little like sex."
With me, Burt Reynolds.
He didn't. Maybe it got cut, so maybe that was the end.
That's the last part.
Right.
It's like having sex with me, Burt Reynolds. international man of mystery and playboy.
Yeah, everything he said was implied.
Yeah.
It's totally implied.
I agree. And you know what the other thing is about this movie that we really didn't touch on, and I feel like to round this episode out, this is a low budget movie made good. It was a budget of $4 million fucking dollars, which is impressive beyond words, and it made $120 million.
And therefore you have sequels.
Yep.
A budget of 4 that they did cut down to 3, like right before they filmed. So it's even more impressive.
Did it go from 4 to 3 or 5 to 4?
I thought it went 5
It was 5, but 1 went to Burt Reynolds. Yeah. Everyone knew that. So they were working with a production budget of 4, and then they said, no, it's only 3 now.
That is shocking. The percentage of your budget. But you know what?
It just goes to Burt Reynolds outright.
But you know what? This movie is a lean, mean hour and 35 minutes, and it does not need one more minute.
It just ends.
Yeah, it really just. And if what happened was they cut 15 pages of car chases and other stunts, I'm happy to see them go. This movie is just right at 135.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%.
I don't want to see the hour 55-minute version of this.
I want to see the Needham cut, bro. Give me the Needham cut.
4-hour cut.
Yeah, 4-hour cut of Smokey and the fucking Bandit. I'm good, thanks. So on that note, let's take a break and we'll play a preview for the next film of Burt Reynolds Month.
Orion Pictures presents Burt Reynolds in Sharky's Machine.
If you don't get out now, I'm going to have to call the police.
I am the police. Sharky, Vice. They were just street cops until they teamed up with Sharky and became Sharky's Machine.
7 ladies. One's got her hooks into Hodgkins, and that's the one the department won't let us touch on. Doesn't that tell you anything? $1,000 a night. Is that right? Is that what they get? I want to watch you. Found the clock. Who? Domino with an E. Domino.
So waste, you busting hookers? The last casualty they had in Vice was a suicide.
What the hell are we doing? Well, we're here to arrest certain people that might be offering to perform sexual acts for money.
The man with the smiling eyes.
Sharky, Vice.
Low-life creep.
Even if there is one guy squeezing his town, he's too high to reach.
Great reputation here. Slave trade. They buy him, kidnap him, then they break him down. Drugs, rape, whatever the hell it takes, and then they sell him. Who is there? Tim and his brother, Albert Spirelli.
You're an outcast about to lose that badge of yours.
You're a strange guy, Sharky.
Yeah, that's what everybody says.
You know you got a big communication problem here, Sharky.
He wants you dead.
Then I am dead.
Where is Domino?
You should have just brought the girl in.
Nobody leans on Sharky's Machine.
That's right. On the next episode, we are going to be joined by the aforementioned Mr. Mike White of the Projection Booth podcast to talk about another film I haven't seen. Not you've never seen, but I've never seen. That film is called Sharky's Machine. I imagine the film's about a shark with a machine.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Well, truth in advertising.
Indeed.
Truth in advertising. But yeah, Richard and Cullen will be joining me once again, along with our friend Mike White. Until then, Father Malone, if I were to search you down on the internet, where in the fucking hell would I find you?
You could just type in fathermalone.com and you'll find links to all of the crazy shit I do, including my podcast, Dark Destinations. It is a half-hour radio drama I put out about once a month. There's also my show, which you keep kind of mentioning on YouTube, which is called You've Never Seen, which is sort of a bunch of video essays about movies that you might not have seen. And,
And if you have seen them, please let Father Malone know in the comments.
Please comment and tell me that you fucking saw it, because I love it. And it's ramped up recently.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's because we're pushing.
Really angry people. I mean, yeah. I got into a fight with a guy about Phantom of the Paradise the other day, because in the video I mentioned that they pervert Winslow Leach's song Faust and they turn it into a Brian Wilson-esque surf number. And the guy was like, there's no Brian Wilson song in that movie. And I'm like,
Juicy Fruits, dog.
There really is. And then he was like, yeah, but it's not the same song. And I went, Yeah, it is. And I like put the lyrics like side by side, like you see that it's just.
Father, why are you wasting your time with these online morons, man?
Oh my God, I don't know, man. Occasionally, they push too far. And this guy telling me that there was no Brian. Like I sent a link to an interview with Paul Williams saying like, "Oh my God, I was so excited. I got to do a Brian Wilson number," and the guy was still could not fathom what I was telling him. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
There's like nothing to say to that. Just like people on the internet, man. You know what you say? At some point, you just you've stuck too much out and you can't retract it anymore. You're just like, I'm all in now.
Yeah.
Oh,
pretty much.
God. What about you, Richard? Where could people find you if they were looking?
You can find me on HBO Max. Seasons 1 and 2 of Titans is currently playing. I would say go ahead and consume those in the month of July because on August 12th, season 3 debuts, and we're going to debut with our first 3 episodes all dropping the same night, and then the remaining 10 playing out each week until, I guess, into the beginning of October.
Yeah.
So catch up on your Titans, and then join us for season 3 when we go to Gotham City.
Nice.
I've heard of that.
That sounds fun.
I've heard of that before. Is that a Batman thing?
Yeah.
Was that Batman?
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, Richard, I've never seen Titans, but maybe I'll take this opportunity to watch it.
Gentlemen, it has been a pleasure.
Look, again, I am an unabashed fan of the Mothman prophecies, as everyone else should be, because it's a fucking great film. I mean, Richard knows it. He wrote it. He's the Mothman. He is the Mothman, ladies and gentlemen. That's what happens. If you never listen to Scary Stories We Tell with Richard on there, Richard is now the de facto Mothman. You just are. Like, that's your thing now. Like, people bombard you on Twitter with Mothman shit all the time.
Yep. You want to know about Mothman, you know where to come. Right?
And then I'm just like, hey, Richard, you see this Mothman ass or what, dog?
Yeah, man. That statue has created a whole line of erotica, apparently, that Chris has rubbed my face in like a dog in its own nuts.
I mean, hey, that Mothman statue has a fat ass. So it is.
I'm going to say muscular.
Ooh.
I'm going to say muscular.
Oh, PH, not FATA or Fata ass. Fat PH ass.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, not like the clubs. What about you, Cullen? Where can people find you if they wanted to look?
I still haven't updated my blog since the last time you asked me that, but it is still up at pulp-serenade.com. There will be new content later this month, but I just found out a deadline I thought was in August was actually in June. So I got to do a lot of research and writing this week to make my editor happy.
June seemed to have been a wild month for a lot of us with like deadlines and other things going on. I don't know. Yes, we're all shaking our heads together, and yet I haven't asked either of you about what happened to you in June. I know what happened to me in June. I know what happened to some other of my pals in June. So I'm glad to know June was just fucked for all of us. So rock and roll. Yeah, June of 2021 was March of 2020 all over again. Just like a fucking nightmare. But yeah, I'm glad it's July now. So, it'll just carry over from last month and it'll still be a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find me on the internet at Christmas Claus. You can also find Richard and I on a podcast that we do called Rankin' on Bass, where we talk about Christmas movies, but that would be a lie at this point. It's been 4 months since we talked about a Christmas movie. Richard loves The Last Unicorn, Lord of the Rings, sticking his tongue out and he loves it. Just go listen. He's there. Cullen and I do a couple episodes of this show. Father Malone and I do a show together called Chronicles from the Crypt. We did. I guess it's technically over now, but you can still find that on the internet at chroniclesfromthecrypt.com or at my linktree, cstachiw.com, where you can find all the links to stuff I do. Big thanks to you three gentlemen, Richard and Cullen. Good first movie out of the gate. So that's 1 for 1. Cullen is like, what? Now you're like 5 for 5 this year, Cullen, I think?
I mean, I hope you enjoy the movies.
So far.
I appreciate it.
So far, I haven't. It's. I'm glad that you guys are sharing things that you love with me because that's important. I have no frame of reference for Burt Reynolds, so you guys would always talk about it whenever we would do podcasts together. So let's fucking do it. So yeah, make sure to check out the next episode of the show.
Yeah.
Giddy up.
Sweet.
Hello, my name is Kevin Tudor, and I'm one of the 3 hosts of Almost Major, a film podcast dissecting many major indie studios and the films they release. Every week, myself, Charlie Nash, and Bryden Doyle discuss overlooked, forgotten, or bona fide classic indie films via studio-specific miniseries. We've previously covered numerous films from Artisan Entertainment, Lionsgate Films, and New Line Cinema. Titles including The Blair Witch Project, American Psycho, Dogville, But I'm a Cheerleader, Saw, Requiem for a Dream, and Ringmaster, you know, the Jerry Springer film. Anyways, we have a fun time every week and we hope you will join us. Subscribe to Almost Major wherever you get your podcasts. Now proudly a part of the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.